Obviously, what we all have been witnessing yesterday and this morning is extremely troubling. There are many folks in the media, whether old mainstream media or the new media, or like here on YouTube or on X, that are trying to make sense of what happened within the framework of their own point of view and their own experience. And that's what you would expect to happen after something like this. I'm not trying in this video to go down any kind of rabbit hole or rabbit holes of trying to pin blame on the rhetoric or any particular party. I'm not trying to provide cover for anybody either. My goal in this video, and what will be a constant effort that I'll be doing on X and maybe here on YouTube as well, to get everyone to focus on one glaring issue here. This is what I'm about, one glaring issue. It doesn't require any expertise in policing, weapons, site planning. It's just 100% logical and common sense. I've been thinking about this after listening to at least 4 or 5 hours of what people have been saying in various forums, and I just can't shut up any longer. You know this about me. So what I'm going to do in this video also is I'm going to beg you to show me the problem of my logic. I mean, that's what we have the comment section for. Let me know in the comments below what am I missing here? Maybe there's something that I'm just not getting, but tell me in detail. Don't just say, oh, you're completely wrong, Randy. That's not going to be helpful at all. If you can see something that's wrong with the logic, lay it out. Boom, 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 just like I'm going to lay it out to you. Give me the logical response. The way I see it, a 20-year-old man, apparently intelligent, he went to a single building near this presidential event carrying a rifle. I think there's some question. I'm still waiting for some evidence of whether he planted the rifle there ahead of time or whether he brought it with him. But either way, at some point, he's spotted by individuals, by witnesses, crawling up the roof with the rifle on his back. I don't think any of that's disputed. If it's disputed, let me know in the comments below. Maybe I need to look at some more stuff, but that's my understanding is he either arrived at the building with the rifle already, or he had it planted there somewhere near the building, not 100% sure. But he had the rifle as he's crawling up the building. He didn't go to any other locations. He didn't try to go up any other buildings. He didn't go to multiple buildings. He wouldn't have had time. The president wasn't going to be speaking that long, and he needed to do this within a very short window. He was not stopped by anyone on his way. Nobody stopped him. I've seen one report by CNN that police had some suspicions about him. It didn't stop him, but they communicated that they were suspicious about this guy. Now, that would suggest that maybe he wasn't carrying the rifle at that point. Maybe they were suspicious of him just being where he was doing what he was doing at a particular time. But I'm not even including that in my analysis. What we know is he only went to this building. Since it was at the very beginning of the president's speech, we know he didn't go to other buildings and set up at other buildings or try to set up other buildings. It would have been not good timing. Okay, stop here. Stop right here. Why would a smart person even get this far? Why would that person believe that they could go to any building, but one specific building with a firearm and not be stopped? And if you believed you would be stopped, you wouldn't do it. So why would he think he could even do this? What would have possessed a smart individual? Apparently from his school records and his, a little bit that we've seen so far, he was smart. Why would he believe that he could go to this one building and not be stopped? That he would be, because if he's stopped, he goes to jail for a very long time just for the fact that he's got the rifle. So we're not talking about something that he doesn't know is going to happen if he is apprehended. So now he bear crawls up the roof. We know this from at least one group of witnesses that saw him do it and that they alerted the police and the Secret Service. Now, we next get to the question of why wasn't there any Secret Service on this roof? if this young man figured out that this would be an appropriate place to take a shot, then the Secret Service should have also been able to figure out that this roof would be a great place to take a shot. What was his special information that would allow him to be smarter than the Secret Service and choose this building where there would not be any Secret Service, which was a great spot to take the shot? And the Secret Service didn't know that and didn't put somebody up there themselves in order to make sure that nothing's crazy happened there. So not only why wasn't there any Secret Service on the roof, there were Secret Service on other nearby roofs, and yet they apparently weren't scanning that roof. They didn't have any drones. They didn't have any helicopters. They didn't have any satellite surveillance. They didn't have anybody looking at that roof, even though this guy figured out that it was a great place to take a shot. But nobody was paying any attention to this roof for 2 or 3 minutes while this guy crawled up the roof and got his equipment set up and took his shot. Not a single person in the Secret Service knew that this guy was doing this during this critical time. Makes no sense to me. How is it that he could have snipers on another roof that apparently, again, I'm not going to count on this for my logical analysis, but there were apparently snipers on another roof that were looking right at him for about 20 seconds before he took the shot, and they didn't shoot prior to his taking his shots. They shot him almost simultaneously. I mean, within fractions of a second or a second or two after he took his shots, they took him out. Not before, but coincidentally at exactly, or just barely after he took the shots. So they saw him at some point. Did they not see him for that whole 20 seconds while they seemed to be looking in that direction? Anyway, I don't even need that for the logic. Leave that aside. Why did the shooter think he would have the roof to himself for multiple minutes to be able to crawl up, set up, and prepare his shot? Why in the world would he even think that? Oh, you could say it's incompetence. Elon put out a post today and he said it was either incompetence but incompetence doesn't allow for crooks going to this roof. Somebody that had the skill, he had the skill to set up and take the shot. He had the weapon. He didn't go out and buy the weapon that morning. He didn't steal the weapon that morning. Well, maybe he did. I don't know. But he had the knowledge. He had the ability to use that weapon. He had the ability to take that shot. Someone who would have been able to design the entire plan. It's not like he woke up in the morning, grabbed his gun, said, hey, you know what? I'm going to go down there and see what I can see. And oh, look there. There's a building. I'll crawl up that building. No, this had to be planned in advance. This had to be a sophisticated analysis of the grounds, a sophisticated analysis of the layout, somehow knowing exactly when the president was going to speak, exactly where the president was going to be to where this would give him an appropriate shot. All of that would have had to have been done in advance by somebody that was sophisticated enough to do this. This 20-year-old guy, 2 years out of high school, he planned all of this extremely well, but somehow we're supposed to believe that none of the Secret Service people would have been able to plan such a great method that actually worked. They wouldn't have had that idea in mind themselves about the ability to use that section of the roof. Well, okay, so help me out here. One or more individuals in charge of security had to make a decision to leave that roof unattended. One or more individuals had to leave a path to that roof unattended. That's the only thing that's possible. There had to be people within that organization. I'm sorry to say it, but I can't figure out any other way to explain this. They had to keep their eyes off of the roof during the entire time that he ascended, set up, and took the shot. He had to know that he would have that space to operate in. That location and that time, had to know this. Then miraculously, right after he takes the shot, the Secret Service takes him out. And how is that possible? Just immediately after. Okay, I don't believe in coincidences. I don't think there's any coincidence here. There would have to be a paper trail of people making a decision to leave that roof unattended, people making a decision to not have drone coverage, people making a decision not to have satellite coverage, people making a decision not to have helicopter visual coverage, people having the snipers on the other roofs not paying attention to that roof. There has to be a paper trail. There has to be somebody who said, no, don't watch that roof, or no, don't put a sniper up there, right? I would think there would have to be somebody in terms of setting up the plan that would have had to have said specifically, we don't need anybody on that roof. We don't need anybody around that building to apprehend this guy. Who was it that posted that? It's convenient that nobody had any eyes on that roof at that time. It's not a coincidence. Doesn't meet the test of logic or common sense. Where am I wrong? Let me know in the comments below.